Guys, welcome to another math video. For this video, I'll be talking about translations. Alright, so this is what we'll be talking about. So translations in terms of math, not just in general, changing from one language to another, but in terms of math. Okay, so in math, basically when we're talking about translations, we're talking about moving objects. Usually graphs of stuff. And okay, so let's take a look at this in action. Okay, so we're going to translate the graph of this circle here, 2 units to the right and 3 units up. Okay, so we're not going to change the size of it. That's actually dilation, which I'll do in a different video. We're actually doing translation, which is moving things around. So we're going to move this 2 units to the right and 3 units up. And you can use any point here as a reference. Generally, we like to use the center, but any point will do. So we can use this point as a reference here. So if we move it 2 units to the right, we're going to move it 2 here and then 3 up. So this point here should end up at this point here, like so. And you can see all the corresponding points should have moved the same amount, including the center. Alright. Now we'll try it with a linear function, or a line graph. Okay, so this time we're going to move this line 1 unit down and 2 units left. And you can use any point as a reference. So if I use this one as a reference, it'll move down 1 and left 2. So this point here should end up here, and this point here should end up here, like so. Okay, so now let's say you don't have a graph to work with. So we're gonna look at this, and this is the standard form for most graphs. Let's take a look at all the different parts. Okay, so y stays y, x stays x. Okay, now h is your horizontal shift, so that's how much it moves left or right. And you notice that the form is x minus h, which means if you see x minus a number, h is positive. So if h is positive, the graph will move to the right. But if you see x plus a number, that means h is negative. If h is negative, the graph moves to the left. Okay, that's the most confusing part about about this form. Okay, now next we got k, which is our vertical shift, or the amount the graph moves up or down. So this one's the easy one. If you see plus k, moves up. If you see minus k, moves down. And last but not least, we got this exponent here, because you know, we're not just limited to the quadratic functions, which have an exponent of 2, but we also go up to 3, 4, and so on. Okay, so let's take a look at one. So we're going to use f of x equals x to the third power as our parent function to describe the translation of the following. G of x is equal to the quantity x plus 3 to the third power minus 4. Okay, so let's describe how this graph is going to move. So this is our parent function here, but it's going to move and change into this. Okay, so basically all you're doing is you're describing it. So what happens? Well, we do the horizontal translation first. So in this case, the graph is going to move 3 units to the left. Then we describe it using the vertical translation here. Okay, and since it's a minus 4, it's going to go down 4 units. So the graph is going to shift to the left 3 units and down 4 units. So remember, x plus a number means h is negative. Yeah. Okay, so let's take a look at another one. Okay, so this time our parent function is x to the 7th, and we're going to describe the translation here. Okay, so you don't need to know what the graph looks like, you just need to know where it's going to move to. So here we got x minus 9, so in this case h is positive, so it's going to move 9 units to the right. Plus 1, it's going to move up 1 unit. So overall, this graph into this graph will move 9 units to the right and 1 unit up. Alright, so that's the basics of how to do translations. Okay, so we define translations in terms of math, and we use translations too. Okay, yeah, so that's pretty much it for this video. Thanks for tuning in, and I will catch you next time.